Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Executive Football Talk, and I'm honored every week to spend a few moments and minutes with one of my mentors, also friends, associate, and just an all-around great guy, Mike Tannenbaum, a legend, sports executive, of course, with ESPN is their insider sports analyst and contributor. Mike is also the founder of the 33rd team, which is growing at an exponential, accelerated rate. Welcome to Executive Football Talk.
Great to be with you, Dave. Hope you're doing well this week.
I'm doing great. I am bombarded. I don't know what it is when football season ends and school kind of enters this spring. I have more kids reaching out to me with the same exact question. Mr. Meltzer, how do I get a job in sports? And you and I took completely different paths to be sports executives and to work in the blessing backdrop of professional sports. Number one, at the 33rd team, you develop talent. So just so people have a little bit of a background, if you wouldn't mind giving everyone some of the successes and capabilities of the 33rd team in your extraordinary internship program and placing people in positions in sports.
Yeah, Dave, we're very fortunate. We've placed 32 men and women with full-time jobs in the NFL Division One programs, and basically that's just through pairing those young men and women who aspire to work in the NFL or Division One with coaches or GMs that are between opportunities, and we pair them virtually. That young man or woman gets a credits through their school. That's sort of like the gatekeeper to the program. Like they can't do it without getting credits, and then they'll do work, research, projects with that coach. That coach has another pair of hands to help them, and it's a win-win because now that young man or woman said, hey, I've interned for Doug Peterson or Bill Belichick or Dan Quinn or Jim Caldwell. I mean, we've got a gazillion at this point. And it's been great to see so many people go on and achieve their dream.
And they get to do that. One of the interesting things in my background in working with the incredible Warren Moon was one of the objectives when Warren retired and was inducted in the Hall of Fame is we wanted to get rid of the term black quarterback. It wasn't good enough to have black quarterbacks. For Warren and I, we just wanted people to say that quarterback, that tall quarterback, that shitty quarterback, that choking or that unbelievable legend of a quarterback. But there was no reason to use or to identify a quarterback by the color of their skin. And for me, one of the biggest successes I feel in that realm, and you'll start seeing a flow of Hall of Fame quarterbacks because right now Warren Moon is the only black quarterback in the Hall of Fame. He's also in the Canadian Hall of Fame, by the way, as well. The only quarterback to be in both. So must have been an extraordinary talent. I feel the same holds true with women and men now. We don't say woman reporter, we don't say woman executive, and we're getting there. Have you seen the biases, even the unintentional biases, dissipate throughout the years, especially as you place so many men and women into positions?
Yeah, I think we're heading that way, right? Where the best people will get to the top. That's the way it should be. But I think in fairness, though, Dave, like for decades, it's been harder for women to get ahead in football. I mean, just you look at the statistics. You have a daughter who hopefully is going to work in the sports industry, and hopefully she'll have a lot more opportunities today than she would have, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's unfortunate in the socioeconomic structure that we have that the highest paying sports are male dominated sports. And historically, men have played, coached, taught on the performance side. It's a pool of people with experience. So even when we have an intention to have the most qualified individuals, there's a smaller pool of people that have the situational knowledge, experience, and relationship capital that bides to the value of a hyper competitive position that is needed as well. And we need to change that by having companies like the 33rd team that develops talent, that gives the situational knowledge and the relationship capital, which we've tried to do for years under Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment, Sports One Marketing, and of course, David Meltzer Enterprises. Getting to how to get a job in sports, what do you look for? There's a lot of misconceptions. People think, that they need to play a college sport, have a law degree, a business degree. What is it that gives you an upper hand or an advantage of getting a job in sports?
I think it's being a great listener. I think that's a skill that is underrated. I think learning how to serve others and being a great listener is really important. And I don't think I try to tell people, Dave, like it really is shifting mindset. So it's not necessarily you're looking for a job, but you're trying to build a career. And I think that nuance is important, meaning like, hey, try to meet one more person this week than you knew the week before. And one of my mentors, a gentleman named Bill McDermott, who's now the CEO. He was CEO of SAP, and he's now the CEO of not Salesforce. Shoot, it's gonna bother me.
Yeah. Nothing like being over 50, Mike. I know what it feels like.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. It's gonna just bear with me for 1 second.
If we had Justin, he would tell us.
Shoot.
That's all right.
ServiceNow.
Oh, ServiceNow. Bill McDermott.
Yep. Which is a $750 million market cap company, like just enormous. And Bill always talks about, like in life, Dave, I think this will resonate with you. Never ask somebody for anything unless you know them for 6 months or longer. And really, like the meaning of that is like serve others, create equity in that relationship before you do anything else. So, talk to young men and women. It's really about, hey, how can you get your foot in the door, serve others, don't ask for anything. Be the first one and the last to leave.
I love the last thing that you said. It's amazing how some of the simple things to do are simple not to do, in displaying and illustrating your engagement and your desire while you're starting off. Do you feel that people are impatient? They look at people in the position that they want to be in, and they discount how long it took them and how much they invested in themselves in order to get to the position that they are in other words, the position the other person wants to be in. I try to teach divine time in the process that it takes. I try to teach people to enjoy the pursuit more than attach their emotion to the outcome that, I'll be happy only when I'm the starting quarterback or the GM of the Jets or whatever other position that they're desiring. Do you find that because we have a shorter attention and intention span, and they both are true today, that kids aren't willing to do what you did when you got out of law school with loans and you made a huge investment in yourself? You understood the timing and risk tolerance of working for very little money and putting in your time to prove how much value you could be to a team.
Yeah, is that expression, Dave? Like, you gotta learn how to dance in the rain.
I like it. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Like, the victory is in the struggle. The victory is in the journey. For me, it was always about choose a job you love. You never work a day in your life. And look, there's some jobs that pay better than others, but you got to enjoy what you're doing. And being in and around, building a football team was always sort of like my guiding principle, and everything, kind of went from there. And, I was also, to be candid, like at a place, personally where I can do that. I sort of moved away from my roots, like growing up in the Northeast, you and I had a great time at Tulane in New Orleans, and that was really healthy for me because I got away from everything up until that point and just said, hey, I'm taking out these loans and I'm going for it, and I want to work in sports. And I just was able to that was my life. Like I didn't fish or golf. Like that's what I did.
Well, and it works out for you in that respect. How do we teach people to learn to dance in the rain? In other words, Bob Carson, the founder of GoDaddy, told me, if you can learn to love what other people don't like or love, and even learn to love what you don't like or love, life will tell you all its secrets. And in the context of dancing in the rain, there's a process of learning to love the rain, learning to enjoy the rain. And a lot of times people can't or don't have that capability. They are victims, not victors. They see punishment, not promotion, in the rain. Are there certain tricks or advice that you can give someone when the shit hits the fan and the struggle is real, to try to enjoy the struggle, because I've been in it, and I have a minutes and moments strategy of, hey, when shit gets hard, my goal is to only spend minutes and moments in the victimization of the hardness, and get back to the victory. But it's not easy for some people, and I think there are some great experiences that you've had that maybe you could advise someone. Hey, if you're stuck right now, if things aren't working out, if evidence isn't there that you're going to succeed, or there is contrary evidence that you're going to succeed, here's a few tips for you.
Yeah, I just saw a video yesterday or the day before by a gentleman named Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman's an extraordinarily successful investor, started a fund, Pershing Square, enormously successful guy. And, there's a lot in the investing world that talks about like the miracle of compounding interest, and how, saving money over a long period of time, and what that could turn into, Dave. He talked about the miracle and the compounding of incremental progress. And he's like, and this is a guy that's worth billions and billions of dollars. And his video, like, I almost like, I watched it, Dave, and I almost felt like, okay, for the rest of my life, every morning, I'm going to start my day off by watching this. And all it talked about was like, his business was like really upside down. He was going through divorce. He was getting sued. And he was like, it was just awful. And
I've been there.
he he talked about, Dave, this was amazing. He's like, everyone talks about the power and the miracle of compounding interest. He's like, I live the power and the miracle of small and steady progress, and just got a little bit better today. And he's like, 30 days later, shit was still hitting the fan, but we were making progress. 60 days later, making more progress, and things eventually got cleaned up. And, I think there's just so much wisdom about, like, here's a guy, like, you see Bill Ackman, see him on TV, read him. It's like, man, this guy has it all. Like, he's never had a bad day in his life. And this one video just talked about like the miracle of compounding small incremental. I'm like, gosh, like that says it all.
It does. I created a diagram, and I'll be happy to send it to anyone. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. It's called the 1,000-step diagram. And so if you could imagine, to get to where you want to be or better, it's always going to take 1,000 steps. And some steps are bigger than others, and some steps are smaller than others. Some steps are harder than others, slippery, etc. But in the end, if it's going to take you 1,000 steps to get to somewhere, as Ackerman and many other people suggest, from Napoleon Hill on, one of the seminal personal development leaders in the world, with Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, and other things, it will take you 90% of the time. It'll take you 90% of your effort. It will take you 90% of the resources that you have to get to 250 steps. And that's why people quit, because they know it's 1,000 steps, but it takes 90% of everything to get you to 250 steps. The saddest part is, for the people that remain, which is very few, it's the 1% of the 1%, Mike, that are willing to keep on stepping, even though they put in 90% of everything they have in to get to 1,000 steps, and they're only at 250. It's less than 5% to get to 500 steps. And then, even sadder, the 1% of the 1% of the 1% that still remain, that have the commitment when no evidence is there, and the evidence is contrary mathematically, because they put in 95% of everything and they're only halfway there. It's less than 5% to get to 1,000 steps. And then it's less than 5% to get to 2,000 steps. People ask me all the time, how do you become a billionaire? It's exactly what that video is telling you. It's the 1,000 steps that it takes. And in order to get there, it's not the mistakes that are made on those steps. It's the lack of commitment. And if you notice, that lack of commitment will always, whether it's in sports, business, or in your personal life, always be the reason why you're not where you want to be, or better. Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, I was just going to add actually like one thing to the 1,000-step, paradigm that you talked about. Yeah, it's just a very similar like mindset of I'm sure he doesn't mind if I share his name. So one of the guys that just absolutely fascinated was a guy named Kurt Cronin, and he's a Navy SEAL, and he spent time with us at a couple teams in the leadership advisory committee. And I remember one time, Dave, I said, Kurt, like, whatever the numbers are, like 1 out of 1 million, like whatever the numbers are, all these people come in, they want to be, a Navy SEAL, and like you were the elite of the elite of the elite of the elite. Like, take me into those moments, and like how and why. He's like, it was really simple. Like, I committed to seeing this through, and there was no option. There was no, like, a little bit of the burn the boats. Like, it didn't matter how long, how far, how whatever. This is what I was going to do.
I love that. And if you haven't read Matt Higgins' book, Burn the Boats, it's a great insight on exactly that mindset, heart set, and handset that it takes to have a commitment. And those commitments are interesting. There is an advantage of having nothing to lose because there's no boats to burn. And I've been on both sides of the fence where my success was derived. The commitment was derived because I had nothing to lose, no boats to burn. But I also created great failures and lessons in my life by building a bunch of boats, a fleet of boats, and taking it for granted, giving me my favorite quote of "You're either humble or you're about to be." Today, we have so much change and such growth in all of sports. Does it still, last question, Mike, does it still help to send resumes, or is there a better way to find and stimulate interest to get an opportunity?
Yeah, I don't think there's like a magical answer to that, Dave, relative to like do X and not Y. I do think, look, you do it at a Hall of Fame level, like creating content, putting out content that hopefully will be consumed by people that could hire you. I just think, again, it's more of a mindset, like work your ass off, dance in the rain, take your 1,000 steps, do it all, and just get a little bit better. Meet one person this week. Just meet one person. And then in 3 to 6 weeks, look where you are. 3 to 6 months, look where you are.
So good. And of course, be the first one in and the last one to leave. People will be aware, whether it's in person, on the phone, via email, or media, traditional or social. You want to ask for help, ask people, would it help you if, and do you know anyone that can help me? I find that's the fastest way to get to where you want to be or better. Find a job utilizing the backdrop of sports. Mike will tell you there's so many different places for so many different people with different skills, knowledge, and desire in sports, whether you're an artist, whether you're a digital marketer, or whether you're a head football coach. There's plenty of opportunities to work within $1 trillion industry, sports. Mike Tannemon's doing it at the highest level with ESPN and the 33rd team. He's a dear friend, and we're blessed to have him here on Executive Football Talk. Thank you so much, Mike. I will miss you in Florida. I got your text message, but hopefully we can catch you for 10 minutes or so online while we're both traveling.
Great. Thanks so much, Dave. Have a great week.
Thank you for your advice. Amazing. We are so blessed to have Mike. Check out the 33rd team. They're a great conduit, a catalyst to help people get jobs in sports, also elevating your knowledge, the inside perspective of the greatest minds, the front office minds in sports. It's amazing who's part of the 33rd team. Check them out. We have posted digitalsquarevc@gmail.com. You can go ahead and search Bill McDermott as well as Ackerman to find those videos. You also can email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I didn't take any questions today. It is Wednesday, but we will be there Friday for an incredible training. Come and join us for Q&A and training on Friday. I will be in moving to Naples, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and then back to South by Southwest in Austin, then Nashville, New York, and Orange County. That's my next 10 days. Be more interested than interesting. Come and join us. We're going to be tonight. If you're going to be around Expo West, come and join me for a meetup right outside the doors, and then a VIP dinner. We will squeeze you in. I think we're sold out, but standing room only if you want to join us. David@dmeltzer.com. If you want to be invited, 949-298-2905. 949-298-2905. Come and join us. We're doing Aspire Tour, Elevator Nights. To be helping out Rick Macy, who's doing a movie with Serena and Venus Williams. We have huge collectibles ideas that are going forward. And of course, hanging out with Sean and Lacey, Sean Dill, Dr. Sean Dill. Those guys are amazing. Could you share the name of the video? I don't have that. Anyways, remember, most importantly, everyone, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you on Friday at Free Training. Join our private networking group if you haven't done so. Get invited to over 200 cities around the world and virtual events. Be on the inside of a neighborhood of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. Thank you so much. Gigi, hit it.